Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today we're looking at part one in the case of the death in the church. This was the death that happened in a small little town and it shocked an entire state. So, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so, and part two of this will be coming very, very soon. So, on the 17th of April 2016, before teaching an early fitness class, Terry Missy Beavers made a post on Facebook saying that if it was raining, their training was still going ahead. The next morning, it absolutely poured down with rain, so Terry decided that the class would still happen and that they would take the class into the Creekside Church of Christ so that the planned training could still go ahead. But that morning didn't go as Terry had planned. Even with the rain, the class was still going to go ahead, and that seemed like the day had been fixed. So, in the small town of Midlothian in northeast Texas, the tranquil town was shattered when Terry was found brutally beaten and viciously stabbed to death in the Creekside Church of Christ the morning her class was meant to be held indoors. She was viciously stabbed to death, leaving behind her 3 children and her husband. Extensive footage inside the church would show someone entering the church wielding a hammer. The assailant went from room to room, kicking the doors as they went. What we do know is that Terry arrived at the church that morning at 4 a.m. to do her fitness class, where she had decided to do the fitness class in the church due to the terrible rain instead of cancelling the class and disappointing her clients. So around 4 a.m. she arrived at the church and was getting ready to set up her class. The torrential rain hadn't stopped the class, and she was in the church sorting out the area where they were going to do the class inside. So she was obviously sorting out mats and getting ready. While she was doing this, supposedly an assailant had broken in through the back door 15 minutes earlier. The assailant then paced around the church, searching every room, kicking doors in, and making a lot of noise, I would expect. Unfortunately, no cameras captured the death or the brutal attack that happened to Terry, and the students would arrive for Terry's class at around 5 a.m. that morning. On entering the building, the students would enter the room that the class was meant to be in and would find Terry laying on her back, surrounded by broken glass in the foyer before they made it to the classroom. She had received multiple traumas and wounds to her chest area. She was dead and had died due to the injuries sustained by a supposed, at that time, a weapon of some description. The assailant, and more details of this assailant, were that the assailant caught on CCTV was dressed in head to toe in police riot gear, including wearing a stab vest and shin pads, and also wearing a balaclava and a helmet. The police, using the CCTV to try and get a clearer picture of the assailant, failed due to the assailant wearing a balaclava, the assailant wearing a helmet with the riot gear, making it very hard to get a clear image using the CCTV. The also sex of the assailant is also unknown. Was the assailant male or female? It is hard to tell by a camera on the sex due to not being able to get a picture of the face. Also, it wouldn't show a clear enough image to decide whether this assailant was a male or female based on height and weight, although they do suggest that the assailant was 5'2" to 5'8" and of about a medium build. So the assailant also was shown on the camera walking around with a slight limp, still not giving away whether it was a male or a female, and still giving nothing away of who the person was. So If you want to hear more about this case, you're going to need to check out part 2, where we're going to discover possibly more information about the assailant and how the investigation into the death of Terry Missy Beavers is a puzzling case, as trying to find an assailant who you can't get a clear image of, no witnesses, can make a case very hard to solve. So in part 2, we're going to look at the people that knew Misty very closely, and we're going to look at more evidence to maybe find out who this assailant was. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Please check out part 2 when it comes out, because you want to know how this finishes. It is a very sad story of a mother who obviously died and leaving behind her children and her husband for, at the minute, as you can hear in this video, no apparent reason than just being a lovely wife who wanted to have a fitness class one morning and unfortunately would die in suspicious cases. If you want to see more from me, I am the Midnight Raven. I load videos every day, and part 2 will be coming up tomorrow, so stay tuned, and I will see you very soon for another video. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye guys.